We've all heard the terms bisexual and pansexual, but have you really understood what they mean? Well, today I'm going to break it down for you. What are the differences between being bisexual and pansexual? Like any community, the LGBTQ, 2SP, and IA communities have their differences. And we've noticed that there is a growing amount of letters being included because what we are recognizing is that sexuality is so many things. So today I'm going to break this down, and I'm probably going to talk more about each individual letter and what it means. But today I'm starting with the differences between being bisexual and what being pansexual is. And if you stay tuned to the end, I'm going to talk about what I found out about myself as I started doing this journey of learning. Now, before we go anywhere, please feel free to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so that you get every single video that I release. And I just enjoy this space of us being able to connect. I really enjoy this vibe that we get to create every week. So without further ado, let's get talking about being bi or being pan. To be bisexual is to be attracted to both genders, both male and female. And it's just that bisexual people are normally attracted to both men and both women. And it adds an interesting array because that is what I have identified myself as. I've always found that I've had attractions to both men and women in my life, and that those experiences have brought me great joy, as well as those relationships that I've been privileged to have. Now, within the bi community though, or not even our community, but I would say within the communities in general, it's a challenging space because bisexual people have felt very erased in the letter community. We are kind of considered like we kind of straddle the fence. We won't pick between being either a lesbian or homosexual, and we definitely don't necessarily side into the heterosexual world. And both sides, both the heterosexual world and the lettered world, kind of look at bi people with a little bit of a raised side eye. I'll call it a side eye or a raised eyebrow because we sit on the fence. Well, the reality is that sexuality is not rigid. It can have fluidity. And in that fluidity, it will mean that we can have a direct attraction in different ways, and our sexual partners can change, which is why you're seeing this vast array of letters being added, because we're starting to recognize that it is fluid. It is not a space that we can sit in necessarily in a box. And the more that we become more aware of our non-binary spaces as well as our non-gendered spaces, that array can only grow. Exciting times. So what's the difference? I know we've all heard that word pan. What does it mean to be a pansexual? Well, pansexual is more about embracing this idea of fluidity. Pan is not necessarily talking about sexuality. In fact, pansexuals are talking about feeling attraction to whatever and whoever they are feeling. And what I mean by that is it could look like somebody who's transgendered. It could look like somebody who is asexual. It could look like somebody who is female and female identified. It could look like somebody who is male or male identified. What is really the driving factor for somebody who is pansexual is the person that they are feeling the attraction to. It's not so much based in gender or genitalia even. It's based upon vibe and feeling. And I think that is such a beautiful expression that really brings forward the intangibility that love can sometimes bring. We all know that there's no set way to describe when we fall in love with somebody. it's sometimes an X factor. There's one particular thing that you just can't put your name on that really creates love between two people. And it's in that same space that I think pansexuality really is expressive in. You see, it's not about just being one thing or another. It's about embracing everything that you can be. And I think pansexuality does a really good job of claiming that. What I recognize is that we are opening up to a much more dynamic space when we are talking about describing gender and sexuality. We are recognizing that there is a vast array of how we express ourselves sexually, as well as how we embrace our fluidity in gender. And now what I'm recognizing is that we are choosing to embrace it in all different ways and spectrums. It is a fantastic time to be finally in acceptance of our differences and still be able to find love anyway. As we grow and move into this new expression and embracing the idea of pronouns being what you want them to be, it opens us up to a whole new way of being and loving. If you stay tuned to the end of this video, you know, this is all about learning new ways of being and to be able to forgive ourselves for maybe some of the ideas that we have taken in the past. And if you are in the process where you are working through maybe a difficult challenge in a relationship, or you've recognized that you might have had some old wounding that keeps showing up in your new relationships, I want to bring to your attention a fantastic series that I am running with my partner in crime and in love. She's a dear friend of mine, Jyoti Saldana of Her Space fame. If you click the link below, you'll be able to join into our 6-session series that we are starting in February on forgiveness and relationships. We will be taking you through a whole process to help you really build into this space of forgiveness. And I am going to offer you some real tools in your relationship space to help you build connection with your partner. We are all on the spectrum, so everybody is welcome, whether you are lettered, if you're a part of the LGBTQ SPIA community, or you are heterosexual, or you're women identified or male identified. We want you all. It is a safe and welcoming space where we can put it all down and just be in the realm to bring healing forward. Come out, click the link, check us out. I think you will love it.